Today on this show, we're going to be talking about Black Captain America, Female Thor, Grayson #1, and Teen Titans #1. Okay, so let's just start with the one that I'm really confused as to why it's a big deal. Black Captain America. Now before I get into this, I do want to say that I am from the UK, obviously, and as a person who has lived both in the UK and in the US, I do want to say that the UK is slightly further ahead of the US in terms of racial equality. And also in terms of my personal upbringing, I was constantly surrounded by people of other races. Like, most of my family is black and my sisters are Vietnamese, so I've been really exposed to a bunch of different cultures and different races throughout all of my life. So with that being said, although it sounds strange, I really just don't see skin color initially. And that's the same for a lot of people that I know in the UK. So with that being said, I just cannot believe people are like, Captain America is going to be black? Black? I just feel like the focus should be on the fact that the mantle is coming away from Steve Rogers and is going to a new person. Like, in my mind, I just can't understand where race comes into the equation, because to me it just is an irrelevant part of it. The mantle is moving on to another person. So what do I think of the fact that there's going to be a new Captain America? I'm fine with it. I don't really care. Captain America's always been this straight-laced guy that's been nice to read about, but sometimes he's just a bit, yeah, hi, bye. And also keep in mind, it's probably going to be a Superior Spider-Man situation where it's going to be around for about 16 to 20 issues, then good old classic Captain America is going to come back. Also, for all of you that are saying stuff like, Captain America was made as an F.U. Hitler. He was made as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed American that hated the Nazis. I don't know if you're aware of this, so I'm just gonna let you know right now. World War II has been over for 70 years now. It's important to learn from World War II, and it's definitely important to acknowledge that as part of human history and learn from it and not to make those same mistakes again. We can definitely move on from it in terms of comics and start to experiment with other stuff. All in all, how do I feel about Black Captain America? I don't care. So next, on to Female Thor. Now, the change of sex is a much bigger deal in my opinion. And please know, I do say change of sex because sex and gender are not the same thing at all. Personally, I feel like Thor is a great character to do this with, and I'll tell you for why. Before the Avengers movies and the Thor movies, Thor was not an A-list character. He was definitely present in people's minds, but more so as the Norse god as opposed to the Marvel superhero. But now the Marvel superhero is right up there with the Norse god. Obviously, with him being Asgardian, you can experiment with things and do things that are totally out of this world. That's the point of the Marvel Asgardian race. And for all of you that are going, well, he was based off of Norse mythology, and in Norse mythology, Thor was a male. Yeah, that's the Norse Thor, not the Asgardian Marvel comic book Thor. Two totally different things at this point. I would like to think that the Thor in the comics has established himself enough to be able to evolve beyond his base. That's what all comic book characters should strive to do. He has evolved so many times over the years. He has changed so much. I mean, he used to have a transformation sequence that was a lot like a Magical Girl's. Again, it might be a permanent thing, it might be like a Superior Spider-Man situation, but either way, I'm really looking forward to this because this is actually really exciting to me. I am so happy that we're seeing more female representation in title comic books. In the upbringing that I had, women were just as strong as men. A lot of the women in my life have been very strong, independent people, and I respect everyone as a person, regardless of gender or whatever. Remember guys, this is comics. Comics have the right to experiment and do whatever the writer feels like. Yeah, it's not always good, and sometimes it's insulting to the characters, Grayson #1. But whatever, there is that right to experiment. For these two characters, just remember two things. Number one, Captain America is a mantle, and that mantle can be worn by anyone who stands for what Captain America stands for. And number two, Thor is an Asgardian, and when it comes to Asgardians, anything can happen. Anything. So Grayson #1. Okay. Where do I begin with this? I really didn't enjoy this. It wasn't really exciting to me. It didn't exactly bore me, but it just wasn't exciting. It was predictable. I found myself reading the comic and being on the first panel of a page and then being like, okay, in 3 pages time, this is gonna happen. And then I'd read on and exactly what I thought was gonna happen, happened. And it was like that through the whole comic from start to finish. My main issue with it is that they've taken Dick Grayson's over-sexualization away. Let me explain. For all of you that don't know, in comics there is obviously a lot of women who are overly sexualized. But Dick Grayson was one of about 2 to 3 men that were also overly sexualized. Don't get me wrong, he doesn't look unattractive in Grayson, he's just not sexualized. There is a major difference between looking sexy and being sexualized. Looking sexy is how he is in Grayson #1. Being sexualized is the fact that in every panel, whenever he's in his Nightwing costume, you see that perfectly rounded butt. We need more overly sexualized men in comics. Not for my own personal gain, but so it becomes normal. We have so many over-sexualized women in comics, and that is normal, so we need men to be the same. And also for more clarity, the fact that a lot of comic book characters have a lot of muscles isn't over-sexualization. It will be showing off those muscles in overly sexualized situations that would make them sexualized. The main reason that we're not seeing more overly sexualized men is because of a group of people that I refer to as comic bros. These are a group of people that say stuff like, yeah, I wouldn't mind it, but seeing men overly sexualized makes me feel really uncomfortable. It really annoys me because obviously you see over-sexualized women in comics all the time, and honestly that hasn't turned me straight, so I don't understand the mindset of, I cannot look at Dick Grayson's perfectly rounded butt, otherwise I might turn gay. Dick Grayson's butt will not turn you gay. So yeah, character design wise, yeah, this issue was a miss, it was very predictable, but what I will say is that I really did enjoy this sense of fun that seems to be coming out. Dick Grayson's just always had this sense of joy and this sense of fun around his character, and it was very much missing in the Nightwing comics, but it's coming back in the Grayson comics by the looks of things. So yeah, Grayson #1 didn't exactly fill me with hope. I definitely want it to be good and I definitely want things to change, but it didn't fill me with hope. But if you liked it, that is okay, that is fine. We just don't agree, and you don't need to rant at me to try and change my opinion, because honestly I probably wouldn't read it. So Teen Titans #1. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it either. I've put it as giving it a solid meh. It was fun, I'll give it that, and I definitely loved the colours. I think the colours suited the Teen Titans a lot. It didn't exactly focus on character interactions, which kind of worries me, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, it's hard to start a series of character interactions when I just say, well, the 2003 Titans did that very, very well, so why can't this one? I'm very much happy about the art, because you know in the last run of the Titans, the art got a bit weird at times, so I'm really enjoying this art, and I hope this stays constant for a little bit. I definitely want more interactions, because the only way to make the Titans stand out is a lot of interaction and less action. Take that as someone that's read every single issue of the Teen Titans to have ever existed. So yeah, I didn't dislike the first issue, but I didn't like it either. From the looks of things, it's definitely going to be better than the last one on the Titans and the Atom's Titans, which is very good. Okay guys, that is it for today. What are your opinions on any of the topics I have talked about today? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking out my Patreon so I can make bigger and better videos like an entire documentary about Captain America, and subscribe to my gaming channel. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.